We're in Melbourne, and we're we're a bit delirious, honestly. We finished the show, the tour last night in Melbourne, and it was a gorgeous night. But we went to a gallery in the last few hours just to kind of change the scenery, and we just said goodbye to our tour crew, and we both said we feel completely out of it. But if we don't do this today, we're flying home from Melbourne tomorrow, and we didn't want to do it remotely from Zoom. So we're going to plow through our deliriousness. But yeah, we've just done like a 3.5 week Australia and New Zealand tour. And it's just a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in. It's going to take some time.
So the only stable thing on this video may be the wall behind
The wall behind us, yes, yes. And you know, about 2 weeks ago, I reached out to you all and said we were going to do this, and would any of you have any questions for us about the tour or about our work together? And firstly, I just want to say thank you for all the lovely questions, but also some of you didn't ask a question, you just sent a really nice comment. So I won't be reading those out, but...
Why not? Because they're about me, right?
No, they're not. No, they were often about both of us. Don't worry, I'll read them to you later.
Good.
If you weren't with us on the Australia tour, I explained to everybody from the stage, have you heard of a HSP, which is a highly sensitive person? Many of us identify with that. Davor is something different. He is a HSE, high self-esteem.
High or huge?
Huge, sorry. Huge self-esteem.
During the tour, we came from high to huge.
Oh, I knew it would be trouble doing this with you. Okay.
I'm still respectful. Was that disrespectful?
No, you weren't disrespectful. Well, we've got time yet. We've barely started. Let's start with a question. Okay. This is from Patricia. I attended the Adelaide show, and he doesn't know any of these questions, by the way, because I have to do all the preparation work. He just wants to come in and sit down. So he's completely spontaneous. I attended the Adelaide show and loved seeing Lee and Davor. The evening was wonderful. I just wish Lee had come to Perth. Is Perth part of this country? I need to speak my truth from the heart. I believe that Perth is always forgotten in WA, but I feel that there's something special coming for all of us and for WA. I love you all. We had Perth on the schedule, and at the very last minute, we lost our venue. So the way that touring works is you have to plan a whole map, and you can't book the venues, you have to hold the venues. You do something called a venue hold. So we had a venue hold on all of these venues, and what happens is by the time you can finalize and say, yes, please, we'll go green, sometimes someone else snaps them up. So we had a Perth venue, and it got removed, and the only other venue available to us would have been for about 150 or 200 people. And given it was such a long flight and we're bringing a tour team with us, we just couldn't do it. However, we are planning Australia for, touch wood, next September and early October, and I promise you Perth will be on it, and we'll have a lot more lead time. So, but thank you for speaking your truth.
Because also this tour was basically organized as it went. Like first we just thought it's going to be America and Canada, and then we added Europe, and then we added New Zealand and Australia. So those times in which we could hold the venues was pretty short, and that's why it happened. But next time, no, for sure.
And I really pushed for us to do Australia because you know, but yes, and we didn't have as much time as we will now, because now we're planning a 2026 tour for all 3 territories that hopefully will run between about March and the beginning of October in different legs. So
good.
I have a meeting about it on Monday after a day of recovery. Okay, so Susan, dear Lee and Davor, your brotherly love and musical collaboration is a precious gift to humanity. Eternally grateful to you both for live streaming your Big Love tour from Seattle, London, Sydney. Since Boston is Davor's old stomping grounds from the early days at Berkeley, will you consider tour dates here on your next tour in the USA? As a Boston local and an active member of your Portal community, I'd be delighted to assist in any way you're planning concert dates here. Here is the funny news. We were walking through the park from the gallery, and I said to you, should we go to Boston?
And in the gallery is going to be the exhibition for the Fine Arts Museum from Boston, the Impressionists from that museum, which when I was studying, I would go sometimes almost daily to that room if I had time and read books in there. So Boston and especially Fine Arts Museum are like so dear to me that I would love to
Yeah, me too.
perform there one day. So
I would love to go there with you and be there in your
Yeah.
old stomping grounds. So,
Yeah.
and here's the thing about the touring, because we're not, like when musicians tour and they do a concert, but they're really just doing songs. They can do 4 or 5 shows a week. I mean, it's a pretty brutal schedule, but they're often in a tour bus. I'm very clear that I can't do this more than 3 nights a week. We have once done 4. But because what we do, not only is it like a 3.5-hour experience with an interval, it's energy work. And so we can really only do 3 a week. And we've kind of figured that maybe next year we're going to go for 4 to 5 week tours, which is longer than we've done this year. So it's all going to depend on how many places we can fit in. In theory, I would love to. But it's balancing the work I do for my online communities and touring, and we're figuring it out. But I would also love to do Philadelphia. I love Philadelphia, but a lot of the time I often see on social media people saying, why aren't you coming here? We do the best we can, and we hope that those of you that really want to be there will travel to see us when you can. And we're always amazed how many people put their hands up that they've traveled from outside the city. So thank you to those of you that travel. We're doing as many as we can, and we will continue to increase and trust that we're always doing as many as we can.
And there's one other thing why we can do only 3 a week. It's not just the energy, that you open up to, but it's also the voice, because Lee goes through 3, sometimes it's usually 3 hours and 50 minutes of switching into a singing voice, speaking voice, channeling voice, meditation voice. So that's a lot, like the chords get a lot of different positions. For instance, if you're just a speaker, you are in one position. If you're just a singer, you stay in one position and it's warmed up. When these positions are quite different, so it's also, we have to be mindful that, after 2 weeks, we cannot do our best anymore. So that's also one of the reasons why we want to be mindful of that. So.